and an institution that is well deserving of being honored and rewarded, and people be made more aware and appreciative of. It has to do with the Kuwait Fund for Arab Economic Development. It's the oldest of the Middle East development infrastructure, financial, developmental assistance institutions and organizations. One is now familiar with others, but they've all patterned themselves on the scale and the model and the example of the Kuwait Fund, which was established in 1961, and 98% of America's economic assistance to the world's less fortunate went to around 5 countries. But the Kuwait Fund is more than 120 countries that benefit from that one organization, versus mainly 5 from the United States. It's not even 2% of the U.S. government, and yet we're the richest country in history, richest country in the world in terms of material well-being. So we have a self-image of being the world's most generous, but the facts are otherwise. Kuwait has been number 1 since 1961 among all world organizations, governments, in terms of the percentage of its material wealth that it shares with the less fortunate of the world. Number 1. We're way up there in terms of the aggregate, but not in terms of percentage of our GDP, which is 21 trillion and counting. So this Kuwait Fund has been referred to by the United States government when countries have come to Uncle Sam and Aunt Samantha and say, hey, fine fella, can you spare me a dime? We're undergoing famine at the present time. We have floods, we have earthquake, we have pestilence, we have a tsunami. Can you help? And we said, well, we just don't have it there. Call Kuwait. And one of the reasons we don't know about Kuwait and its largesse and its financial humanitarian contributions to lessen the burdens of the trouble amongst humanity is because of an Islamic value. And that is to not call attention to yourself, to be a third person singular, not a first person singular there. And during the period when Kuwait was under occupation and the victim of aggression in 1990 from August until late February, many people said no blood for oil. And how many knew what I just mentioned in terms of what Kuwait represented, that Kuwait would not have broadcast to the rest of the world, in keeping with the Islamic value of focusing on the other more than on the self. There's one country, for example, that had a government that voted against sending armed forces to Saudi Arabia so that the invasion would not spread beyond Kuwait. And it so happened that that particular country, the largest employer outside of the government, was a hotel chain, 18 hotels in that country, owned by Kuwait. But the workers themselves did not know that. And so sometimes when you don't broadcast what you're doing, it can come back to hit and hurt you. And so we salute this particular organization that has not called attention to itself, but has done such a remarkable degree of work in lessening the travails of humanity. It's the Kuwait Fund for Arab Economic Development, this mother, this pearl of all of the developmental economic assistance organizations in the Arab region, the Middle East, the Islamic world. Before we break for lunch, there's one segue remark here that when Kuwait was invaded and occupied in 1990, this was right when the Soviet Union had imploded. At the time, it cut off the economic assistance to its East European satellite countries, 5 of which in particular had no oil or gas. And they asked the United States, please help. We're talking about the United States saying we just don't have it. No other country said we have it. One country did. We're talking about Bulgaria, Romania, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, and Poland. These 5 had an infusion put on life support because of Kuwait. We talk about the need for leadership in the world. We have leaders. We have plenty of leaders. What we need are statespeople, statesmen, stateswomen. We need the Mandelas. We need the de Gaulles. We need the Mother Teresa's there. And we need institutions and individuals who lead them, like Marwan El-Ghanem and his staff. Please salute these people who are the unsung heroes who realize that if you don't insist on taking credit for something, you can do 10 times as much. And look what this institution has done. Thank you, sir. Thank you.